Imagine, my brother signed. Imagine if somebody built a bridge right outside our window and we could just walk across the highway and be on the other side. We were sitting together on the window seat, staring out at the wet snow, the gray sky, and the cars moving along the highway, tiny and slow in the distance. I was thinking about the Jesus boy. There weren't white people on this side of the highway. You didn't notice until one appeared, and then you saw all the brown and light brown everywhere, and then you started to wonder. The first time I asked Mama about it, she said, "They don't want to live over here." And the way she said it made me wonder what was so wrong with our side of the highway. "Why would we want to cross the highway anyway?" I asked Sean. "What would we want to see?" "What wouldn't you want to see?" Sean said. I wish I could explain the sign for what. With sign language, there are different ways of moving your face and hands for the same word. Like there's what that means, "Stop talking, kid, you're bothering me." And there's what that's really interested in what somebody wants to say to you. You do sort of the same thing with your hands, but your face does other stuff. "I like this side," I said. Sean kept staring out the window. "Maybe if you were standing somewhere else and looking over here, you'd think the houses weren't real special. The way some of them could use new windows or some new paint, the way the doors hung off of some and other ones had some cardboard sometimes where a window should be. Or maybe you'd see our apartment building and wonder about the names written on it, or the way, just outside the 5th floor, someone's laundry had frozen on the line." It was snowing hard again. I lifted the window a bit and stuck my hand out, caught some flakes in it and licked them off. Sean shivered and pulled the window closed. "You're crazy," he said. "What's wrong with walking down to the overpass?" If you wanted to cross the highway from where we lived, you had to pray first. Then you had to run real fast. Or you could walk a half mile down and then there's an overpass but takes you to the other side. Either way, it was a lot of trouble. It's different," Sean said. "I mean, like imagine if there was a bridge from every single window in the world to some whole new place. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? It would mean we could all just step out of our worlds into these whole new ones." I shook my head. "It's fine here. It's beautiful." It was beautiful. Somebody had written some names on our building, and even though all the grown-ups complained about it and tried to wash them off, I secretly loved the bright colors of the spray paint, the way the names looked super big written out like that, like some giant had come along with giant markers. And when I looked at the windows that had pieces of cardboard trying to fill in the places where the glass should be, I thought about the way the sun had to climb over and through the spaces where the cardboard wasn't to sneak into that house. And when the sun found its way through, I figured it left these beautiful, bright yellow lines over everything inside. We had everything we needed on this side, huge supermarkets like Bohack when you have to do the big family shop once a week, tiny old tank store when you were last minute desperate for something like high-priced milk. We had the Price School where I went. Mama said we could make believe it was named for Leontine Price, the black opera singer, but it's really named after Major Price, the white major from a long time ago. And the Daffodil School, where Sean went. The Daffodil School's for kids who don't learn like other kids, like Sean. He can't hear, so you have to use sign language with him. He can talk a little bit, but most people don't understand what he's saying. I guess that's because you have to listen real hard, and most people don't want to spend a lot of energy on listening to people. Across the highway, there's another school like Sean's school. Sean's called Starship Academy. Mama said even if we lived on that side of the highway, she'd cross it every day to come to the Daffodil School, because there was no way on God's green earth she'd send Sean to a school that sounded like it was for people from outer space. There's a regular school over there called East Bay. You always saw cars on the highway that said, "My child's an honor student at East Bay," which was basically another way of saying, "I live on the white side of the highway." Price had those bumper stickers too. Samantha had gotten a couple of them, and once she even gave me one. But Daddy said maybe we should wait until I actually was an honor student before he put it on his bumper. On our side of the highway, we also have a library. Mama calls the library the daycare center, because most of the kids in there are waiting for their parents to get home from work. There's a real daycare center called Little Sprouts, and one for kids with things different about them called Special Little Sprouts. Both of them got flowers and little hands painted on the windows, and some days, if it was raining or just real cloudy, I walked by and saw those flowers and those tiny little painted hands, and it filled me with such an emptiness. Some days it felt like the times when I got to make handprints and flowers and stuff just slipped away from me before I even got a chance to figure out how much fun being a little kid was. Seems the minute I turned around, I was already more than 11 years old. Some days, 11 felt like a whole long lifetime, all heavy like that. If somebody did build that bridge, Sean, I said, who do you think would be the first to cross it? Somebody from that side or somebody from our side? I'd cross it, Sean said. I don't mind being the first. And then what? I don't know, Sean shrugged and kept staring out the window, his eyes getting that faraway look, his hands quiet on the sill.